The dining room table had been in my family for 43 years, the same table where my late husband Robert and I had celebrated every Thanksgiving, where my son Michael blew out birthday candles, where my daughter Rebecca announced her pregnancy. I was staring at it when my phone buzzed with an email that would change everything. Then I did something I never thought I'd do. I opened my banking app and canceled every single recurring payment to my children. But let me back up. I'm Margaret. I'm 62 years old, a retired middle school English teacher living in Canton, Ohio. My husband Robert died 4 years ago from a sudden heart attack. He was pruning roses in our backyard when it happened. One moment he was there, the next he wasn't. Just like that, I became a widow. The house felt enormous after he died. 4 bedrooms, a basement full of memories, a backyard I couldn't maintain alone. My pension covered the basics, but barely. I'd already started looking at smaller apartments, planning to downsize. The real estate agent said I could get maybe $180,000 for the place, enough for a 1-bedroom condo and some breathing room in my retirement account. That Tuesday morning, 3 weeks before Thanksgiving, I was making coffee when the email arrived. From Michael, my son, 34 years old, married to a woman named Lisa, father to my 2 grandsons, Jake and Connor. The subject line read, "About Thanksgiving." My heart jumped. Maybe he was asking what to bring this year. Maybe he wanted to host for once. "Mom, Lisa and I have been talking. We think it's best if you don't come for Thanksgiving this year. The boys are really stressed with school and soccer, and honestly, your visits always seem to create tension. We need to focus on our immediate family right now. I'm sure you understand. We'll touch base after the holidays. Love, Michael." I read it 3 times. We need to focus on our immediate family. I wasn't immediate family anymore. My coffee went cold in my hands. I sat down at that dining room table, the one I'd been planning to leave behind when I moved, and I started to cry. Not the gentle tears of sadness, but the ugly, shoulder-shaking kind that come from somewhere deep in your chest. What had I done wrong? I opened my laptop and pulled up my bank statements. I needed to see something, to confirm something I already knew but hadn't wanted to admit. There it was. $800 to Michael's car loan. I'd co-signed when he bought that SUV, but I was the one making the payments. Just until we get caught up, Mom. Maybe 6 months. That was 2 years ago. $600 to Rebecca's account, labeled grocery help. My daughter, 31, a single mother to my granddaughter Emma. Everything's so expensive now, Mom. Just until I get my promotion. And then the extra requests. Always the extra requests. I scrolled through my Venmo history like I was reading a crime report about my own life. $350 2 months ago. Rebecca. Emma's dance recital costume. They're requiring professional outfits this year. $1,200 6 weeks ago. Michael. Jake needs braces. Insurance only covers half. $400 last month. Rebecca. Car repair, Mom. I can't get to work without it. $2,200 3 months ago. Michael. The transmission died. I need it fixed by Monday. I added it up. In the last year, I'd given my children over $30,000. I was eating cereal for dinner twice a week to afford it. I was putting off my own dental work because the copay was too high. I was selling my house because I couldn't maintain it on my pension alone. And I wasn't invited to Thanksgiving. My phone rang. Rebecca, my daughter with the long dark hair and my late husband's green eyes. The girl I'd rocked to sleep, whose college tuition I'd covered with a second job at the library. "Hi, honey," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "Mom, hey, quick question. Emma's school is doing this special holiday program and they're asking for donations. Can you cover her part? It's only $200. Only $200. Rebecca, I just got an email from your brother. Oh yeah, about Thanksgiving? Yeah. Lisa's been really stressed. So we all agreed it would be better. We all agreed? Well, yeah, Michael and Lisa and me. We thought it would be easier this year without having to worry about hosting and everything. I've hosted Thanksgiving for 34 years, Rebecca. I know, Mom, but things are different now. We're all adults with our own families. Our own families. So about the $200? She continued. I looked at my laptop screen. The numbers glowed back at me. $30,000. Cereal dinners. A house I was selling. I'll think about it, I said. Mom, I need to know by Friday. Can you just Venmo it? I said I'll think about it, Rebecca. Fine. Whatever. She hung up. I sat in the silence of my too-big house and thought about all the times I'd said yes. Every time. Without hesitation. Because that's what mothers do, right? We sacrifice. We give. We make it work. I thought about Robert. About what he would say. He'd been the practical one. The one who said we were helping too much. That the kids needed to stand on their own feet. You're not helping them, Maggie, he used to say. You're crippling them. But he died, and I'd been so afraid of being alone, so desperate to feel needed, that I'd said yes to everything. Every request. Every emergency. Every just this once. Mom, I opened Facebook, something I rarely did anymore. Rebecca had posted yesterday. The post was a meme. Some quote about toxic family members who use guilt to manipulate you. The caption, setting boundaries with toxic people isn't cruel. It's self-care. Even if they're family. Especially if they're family. 43 likes. I read the comments. Proud of you? From her friend Jessica. You deserve peace. From someone named Amanda. Family doesn't get a free pass to treat you badly. From Michael. Michael. My son had liked and commented on a post about toxic family members. While I was paying his car loan, something inside me broke. Or maybe it finally healed. I'm still not sure which. I called my therapist. Dr. Patterson had been seeing me since Robert died, helping me navigate grief and this new life I hadn't chosen. I'd started seeing her again more frequently in recent months, trying to understand why I felt so empty despite doing everything for everyone. Margaret, she said when I told her about the email and the Facebook post, what do you want to do? I don't know. Yes, you do. You're just afraid to say it. I was quiet for a long time. I want to stop, I finally whispered. I want to stop giving them money. I want to stop being an ATM that they only visit when they need a withdrawal. Then stop. But what if they never speak to me again? Margaret, are they really speaking to you now? Or are they just making transactions? That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Michael learning to ride a bike in our backyard. I could still see his face, determined and terrified, as Robert ran alongside him. You've got this, buddy, Robert had shouted, and then he'd let go. Michael had wobbled, steadied, and pedaled away on his own. Robert had let go. I'd never let go. I thought about Rebecca's college graduation. I'd worked 3 jobs that year to help cover what the scholarships didn't. I'd been so proud, watching her walk across that stage. $45,000. That's what her education cost me. She'd promised to pay me back once she got established. That was 10 years ago. The next morning I made a decision. I opened my laptop and wrote 2 emails. Dear Michael, I've received your message about Thanksgiving. I respect your decision to focus on your immediate family. In that same spirit, I've decided to focus on my own financial well-being. Effective immediately, I will no longer be making payments on your car loan or providing additional financial support. I hope you understand. I wish you and your family a wonderful holiday. Love, Mom. And to Rebecca. Dear Rebecca, I won't be able to contribute to Emma's holiday program. Additionally, I've decided to discontinue the monthly grocery support and any future financial assistance. I'm preparing for my retirement and need to prioritize my own expenses. I hope you understand. Love, Mom. My finger hovered over the send button. 34 years of mothering came down to this moment. I thought about Dr. Patterson's words. You can love your children without funding their lifestyle. Boundaries aren't punishment. They're self-respect. I hit send on both emails. Then I went into my banking app. $800 to Michael's car loan. Canceled. $600 to Rebecca's account. Cancelled. I removed them both from my Venmo quick access list. My bank balance showed $2,847. That was it. That's what I had left after a month of bills. But next month, I'd have $1,400 more. I made myself scrambled eggs for breakfast. Real eggs, not cereal. I ate them slowly at the dining room table. My phone started ringing at 10 a.m. Michael. I didn't answer. Rebecca. I didn't answer. Michael again. Rebecca again. A text from Michael. Mom, what's going on? The car payment didn't go through. A text from Rebecca. Mom, call me. This isn't funny. I turned off my phone. I called my friend Dorothy, a woman I'd taught with for 20 years. She'd gone through something similar with her own son a few years back. Good for you, she said when I told her. Do you know what I did with the money I stopped giving to Brian? What? I went to Scotland. I'd always wanted to see the Highlands. So I went. By myself. Best decision I ever made. I can't afford Scotland. No. But what can you afford, Margaret? What have you been putting off because you were busy being everyone's bank? I thought about it. There was an art class at the community center. Watercolors. $30 a session. I'd seen the flyer 3 months ago and thought, I can't afford that. I'm going to paint, I told Dorothy. I'm going to learn to paint. Good. Now keep your phone off and go do something nice for yourself today. I drove to the art supply store in the mall. I bought watercolors, brushes, good paper. I spent $73. It felt like rebellion. It felt like freedom. When I finally turned my phone back on that evening, I had 17 missed calls and 32 text messages. Most were from Rebecca and Michael, escalating in tone from confused to annoyed to angry. But there was one from Michael that made my blood run cold. How could you do this right before the holidays? What kind of mother cuts off her own children? You're being incredibly selfish. When you need help someday, don't expect us to be there. I read it twice. When you need help someday, don't expect us to be there. They didn't want me at Thanksgiving, but they expected me to be available when they needed help someday. I typed back, I'm simply respecting your boundaries, just as I hope you'll respect mine. I love you both, but I can't continue to fund your lives while being excluded from them. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. 3 days of silence followed. I used those 3 days well. I signed up for the watercolor class. I met with my real estate agent and put the house on the market. I made an appointment with a financial advisor to plan my actual retirement. The one I'd been putting off. I cooked real meals for myself. I read a novel in the middle of the afternoon. I slept better than I had in years. On the 4th day, my doorbell rang. It was Saturday morning. I was in my pajamas, drinking coffee, working on a painting of the backyard where Robert had died. The roses he'd been pruning were in the foreground. I opened the door. Michael stood there. His SUV, the one I'd been paying for, wasn't in my driveway. He'd clearly gotten a ride. Mom, he said. Michael, can I come in? I stepped aside. He sat at the dining room table, the same place he used to do homework. He looked tired. Good, I thought, and then felt guilty for thinking it. The bank repossessed the car, he said. I didn't say anything. I missed 2 payments and they came and took it. Lisa's furious. I've been taking the bus to work. I'm sorry to hear that. Are you? His voice had an edge. Michael, I'm your mother. I don't want you to suffer, but I also can't keep sacrificing my own financial security for yours. I didn't ask you to pay for the car. Actually, you did. 2 years ago. You said 6 months. It's been 24. He was quiet. How am I supposed to get to work? He finally asked. The same way millions of people do. You'll figure it out. Bus, carpool. Save up for a used car you can actually afford. This isn't you, Mom. You've never been this cold. No, I said, and my voice was steady. I've never had boundaries. There's a difference. He stood up. Rebecca was right. You have changed. What does Rebecca say? That you're being selfish? That you're punishing us? For what? I don't know. For wanting our own lives? For having families of our own? Michael, you uninvited me to Thanksgiving. That's your right. You're adults with your own families. But I'm also an adult with my own life. And I can't keep draining my retirement account to support yours. He walked to the door, then turned back. When we told you not to come for Thanksgiving, we didn't mean forever. We just needed one holiday without the stress. What stress do I cause? He opened his mouth, closed it. Lisa, she feels like you judge her. I've never said a word against Lisa. You don't have to. It's in your face. Maybe he was right. Maybe I had judged her. This woman, who had somehow convinced my son that his mother was a burden. Regardless, I said, the financial support is over. If that changes your feelings about our relationship, then I guess I know where we stand. He left without saying goodbye. I went back to my painting. 2 hours later, my phone rang. Rebecca. Mom, what did you say to Michael? He called me crying. I told him the truth. I can't afford to keep supporting both of you. We don't ask for that much. Rebecca, I've given you both over $30,000 this year. Silence. That can't be right. I have the bank statements. Would you like me to send them? Mom, I'm a single mother. Emma needs things. You know how hard it is. I do know. I was a single mother too. After your father died, I didn't have anyone giving me $600 a month. That's different. You had a job. You have a job, Rebecca. A job that barely pays the bills. Then you need to make changes. Budget differently. Find a better job. Move somewhere cheaper. What you can't do is expect me to subsidize your life indefinitely while excluding me from it. I saw that post on Facebook, I continued, about toxic family members who manipulate with guilt. She was quiet. Did you mean me, Rebecca? Mom, you don't understand. You just don't get what it's like trying to raise a kid alone in this economy. You're right. I don't understand. Because when I was raising you alone, working 3 jobs, I didn't have time to post on Facebook about my toxic family. I was too busy surviving. I heard her crying. Part of me wanted to take it all back. To tell her I'd keep sending money. To be the soft place to land I'd always been. But I didn't. I love you, I said instead. I will always love you. But I'm done being an ATM. I hung up. That night, I couldn't sleep again. I kept thinking about Emma, my granddaughter, 8 years old, sweet, talented. She was innocent in all of this. Would I ever see her again? I thought about Jake and Connor, Michael's boys. Would they even remember me? Dr. Patterson's words came back to me. You can't set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. I'd been burning for 4 years. Ever since Robert died. Maybe longer. The next week was Thanksgiving. I didn't cook a turkey. I didn't set the dining room table for 12. I didn't make Robert's mother's stuffing recipe or the cranberry sauce from scratch. I accepted Dorothy's invitation to join her family. It was small. Just her and her daughter and son-in-law. We ate at 2 p.m. I brought wine and a pie from the bakery. It was the first Thanksgiving in 34 years that I hadn't cooked. It was also the first Thanksgiving in 34 years that I'd enjoyed. How are you doing? Dorothy asked as we cleaned up. I don't know, I said honestly. Some moments I feel free. Other moments I feel like the worst mother in the world. You're not a bad mother for having boundaries, Margaret. You're human. That evening, I got a text from an unknown number. It was Lisa, Michael's wife. Margaret, I owe you an apology. Michael told me everything about the money. I didn't know. I thought you were just helping with the car payment, not making the whole payment. I feel terrible. I think we need to talk. All of us. Would you be willing to meet with us? Maybe with a family therapist? We'd like to pay for the sessions. I stared at that text for a long time. They'd like to pay for the sessions. They had money for therapy. They just didn't have money for a car payment. I typed back, I'd be willing to try, but I won't resume financial support. That boundary is permanent. Understood. I'll find a therapist. Thank you. It was a start. Rebecca didn't reach out over Thanksgiving. I sent her a text. I love you and Emma. I hope you had a nice holiday. She read it but didn't respond. It hurt. But it was survivable. The house sold faster than I expected. A young couple with a baby made an offer the second week. They fell in love with the backyard, with the rose garden Robert had planted. We're going to take good care of it, the wife told me at closing. I believed her. I moved into a one-bedroom condo in December. Modern, efficient, mine. My share from the house sale, after paying off the mortgage, was $112,000. I put it in a retirement account. For the first time in 4 years, I felt secure. Christmas came. I sent gifts to all 4 grandchildren. Modest gifts bought with money I could actually afford to spend. Michael sent a card. Mom, Lisa found a therapist. First appointment is January 8th. Can you make it? We'd really like to try. I wrote back, I'll be there. Rebecca sent nothing. On Christmas morning, I was alone in my new condo. I made myself pancakes. I watched old movies. I worked on a watercolor of the dining room table. The one I hadn't been able to fit in the new place. The one that had gone to an estate sale. It should have been sad. But it wasn't. My phone rang at 3 p.m. Rebecca. Merry Christmas, Mom. Merry Christmas, honey. Emma wanted to talk to you. I heard fumbling, then my granddaughter's voice. Grandma, thank you for the art set. It's so cool. You're welcome, sweetheart. I thought you might like it. Mommy says maybe we can come visit your new place. I'd like that very much. More fumbling. Rebecca came back on. Mom, I'm sorry. For the post. For taking you for granted. For all of it. I know, honey. Are you okay? I am. I really am. Can I come see you next weekend? Yes. But Rebecca, the financial support isn't coming back. I know. Lisa told me about the therapy. Maybe we could do that too. You and me? I'd like that. After we hung up, I sat on my small balcony and watched the sun set. The condo complex had a little courtyard with benches and winter flowers. It wasn't the backyard Robert and I had shared, but it was peaceful. I thought about the journey from that November morning when I'd opened Michael's email to this Christmas evening. I thought about the $30,000 I'd given away, the cereal dinners, the house I'd sold. I thought about the boundaries I'd set, the anger I'd endured, the silence I'd survived. Was it worth it? I looked at my bank statement on my phone. $4,200 and growing. The watercolor class had turned into a hobby I loved. The retirement account was funded. I was eating real food. I was sleeping through the night. My children were learning to stand on their own feet. It was painful, but it was necessary. And slowly, tentatively, we were rebuilding. Not the old relationship where I gave and they took. Something new. Something healthier. Would we get all the way back? I didn't know. But I knew this. I'd stopped being an ATM. I'd started being a person again. I'd being the Meidersiv. I don't relides. The first therapy session in January was awkward. Michael, Lisa, and me, sitting in a stranger's office, trying to explain how we'd gotten here. The therapist, a calm woman named Dr. Reynolds, let us talk. Then she said something that hit me like cold water. Michael, Lisa, I want you to understand something. When you disinvited Margaret from Thanksgiving, while still accepting her financial support, you sent a very clear message. We want your money, not you. Can you see how that would feel? Michael looked at his hands. I never thought about it that way. And Margaret, Dr. Reynolds turned to me. I want you to understand something too. You taught your children that your love came with money attached. That's what they learned. Now you're changing the rules, and they're confused and angry. That's natural. I started to cry. I just wanted to help. I know. But there's a difference between helping and enabling. You were enabling their dependence because it made you feel needed. That's not love. That's codependency. It was the hardest thing I'd ever heard. And it was true. We met every other week. Slowly, things began to shift. Michael got a used Honda for $3,500, paid for with money he saved by budgeting carefully. He was proud of it in a way he'd never been proud of the SUV. Lisa went back to work part-time. They were managing. Rebecca and Emma came to visit my condo. We went to the art museum, made cookies, talked. I got that promotion, Rebecca told me. The one I'd been waiting for. It comes with a 20% raise. That's wonderful, honey. I should have been working toward it instead of just waiting for it to happen. I think I was lazy, Mom. I think I knew you'd always bail me out. We both made mistakes. Yeah, but you fixed yours. By March, I'd saved $6,000. The watercolor class led to a small showing at the community center. I sold 3 paintings. I used the money to book a trip to Maine for the fall. I'd always wanted to see the lighthouses. Michael and Lisa invited me to Easter. The whole family would be there, including Rebecca and Emma. We're cooking, Lisa said. You're a guest. It felt strange, being a guest in my son's home. That Easter Sunday, I watched my children work together in the kitchen. I watched my grandchildren play in the backyard. I was there, but I wasn't managing everything. I wasn't funding everything. I was just being grandma. At one point, Michael pulled me aside. Mom, I need to tell you something. My heart jumped. Here it comes, I thought. Another request. I'm sorry, he said. For taking advantage of you. For making you feel like you had to choose between money and a relationship. You shouldn't have had to do that. That was on us. I hugged him. My boy, who'd learned to ride a bike when his father let go, who was finally learning to ride through life the same way. I love you, I said. I love you too. And Mom, I'm proud of you. For what you did. It was hard, but it was right. Later, as I drove home to my little condo, I thought about the woman I'd been a year ago, terrified of being alone, desperate to be needed, willing to erase herself to keep her children close. That woman was gone. In her place was someone new, someone who painted watercolors and planned trips and slept soundly at night, someone who loved her children but didn't need them to need her, someone with boundaries. My phone buzzed. A text from Rebecca. Thank you for coming today. Emma loved seeing you. Can we come visit next month? I'd like to see your art studio. My art studio. That's what I'd started calling the corner of my living room with the easel and the paints. I texted back, I'd love that. I'd love that. I realized I meant it. I loved my new life. I loved my children. But I also loved myself. It had taken 62 years and one devastating email to learn that lesson. But I'd learned it. The ATM was closed. The mother was still open. And that, I was learning, was enough.